Hi, my name is Simon, and I've been coming to BCEC for 15 years. I'm married to Hoi-Fi, and we have two children, Hannah and Sean. I would like to share with you two things today. What has God been teaching me through this period of COVID, and to share one piece of influential scripture in my spiritual life. What God has been teaching me through this period of COVID is how important community is. Early on last year, during lockdown, I heard a radio phone-in program of a woman who was shielding. She was unable to get an online shopping slot, and there was no one else to help her. That made me think really how sad that is, with no family and no friends or community to help her, and how blessed we are to have our church community. I'm really confident that if my family or I needed help, that I would get that help, both spiritually and practically. And we have experienced that support during last year when we needed it. We have an online church that we meet each Sunday, although, it's not quite the same as what it was before, but it brings us together as a church community. We can still worship together with other brothers and sisters. The other area which I think is really important is cell groups. Over the last year, we've been meeting in our care group most Fridays. We've even tried to have some Zoom lunches and a movie night over Skype. We've all had difficult times and struggled some point during this COVID period, whether it's been with work or finances or health or trying to balance homeschooling and work. I found it really helpful to pray together and to encourage each other in our cell group. And I would encourage you, if you're not in a cell group, to join one. I would also encourage you to think about those who do not have a community to support them and how you can support them. My second piece of sharing is to share one piece of influential scripture in my spiritual life. I've chosen Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. So why have I chosen this verse? It's a verse that reminds me that I need to trust in God, that in some situations that is the only option. I want to share with you an experience I had in December last year. So a week before Christmas, we were contacted on a parents' WhatsApp group that one of Sean's classmates have tested positive for COVID. We were subsequently told by the school that his whole class had to self-isolate, I think for 10 days. So about a week later, I felt really tired, and initially I thought it was just because I've been working long hours, and I had a bit of a headache, and I took a temperature, and I did actually had a temperature. At that point, Hoi-Fi told me, I better go and get a COVID test. So I went for my COVID test, I think on Boxing Day, and the first test, it came back as inconclusive. At this point, Hoi-Fi also had similar symptoms to me. And we went back the following day for a second test. And even before that test came back, I was pretty sure, I had COVID, as I've never had a temperature for going on for days, and I felt really tired and fatigued all the time. At this point, I was really quite scared. Statistically, I know we should be okay, given our age and our reasonably good health, but we could be, the unlucky ones. It took us about 2 to 3 weeks before we made a full recovery, and we found out later that 7 of Sean's classmates had tested positive, although Sean was very fortunate they didn't have any symptoms at all. In these times, I think in one sense it's easy to trust God, as there's nothing humanly we can do. For myself, I need to trust him when things are going smoothly, and not to lean on my own understanding. Anyway, thank you for listening.